laisse tomber.
C'est bon, tu finis.
Silence, on tourne.
I have to say that your request for me to say something on this theme, the brain, the unconscious, nothing in common, leaves me something at a loss. How to say something about the relation between two terms whose relation is posed under the sign of a disjunction, that they have nothing in common. If they have nothing in common, why are we talking about them? What is there left to say? And to whom would we be saying it? If we take this title as a positive affirmation, we could say that we analysts might be aware that they have nothing in common. So to whom would we be addressing ourselves? The neuro experts, the technicians of the cerebellum, they want to know nothing about the unconscious. By definition, they leave no room for what we know as the unconscious. We could maybe even perhaps say that the discourse of neurology is designed precisely to exclude any space for the unconscious. The neurons do their work automatically. There's no question of our consciousness of neural functioning. Of course, there's the question of how consciousness can be produced out of the activity of neural functioning, which the neurologists maybe consider outside their register, something to be left to the lucubrations of the cognitivists. We can perhaps say that here the neurologists find themselves at the limit of their field, confronted by the mystery of consciousness. We analysts, at least, pose ourselves the question, shall we say, of the mystery of the unconscious, or at least, with Lacan, with the mystery of the speaking body. Precisely a question that does not take the relation between consciousness and unconsciousness as its point of reference. This maybe takes us back to that initial sense of bewilderment, that sense of loss, finding myself at a loss, how to respond, how to speak about a relation that doesn't exist, a conjunction defined as a non-relation. Perhaps, if anything, psychoanalysis leaves itself space, indexes itself on this impossibility, an impossibility of speaking, and, to some extent, an impossibility of writing. Perhaps we could say that neurology in its investigative aspect, or in supposed therapeutic applications, is centered around the question of what works and what doesn't work. Perhaps the source for the enthusiasm currently surrounding this discourse is precisely on account of its black box aspect. It promises access to the secrets of our existence buried deep within the cerebellum, at the same time as it promises all kinds of future technical applications, utopian dreams of improvements to our condition. The psychoanalytic discourse, on the other hand, is indexed on a different kind of black box, not even so much on that of the unconscious and the proliferation of its effects, as on the real at the heart of that unconscious, the nucleus of impossibility around which those effects are elaborated, das Kern und sein Wesen. Whether this takes the form of an impossible to say, or that of an impossible writing, of an impossible to be written. Perhaps it is here, in this zone, at this articulation, that it might be productive for us to explore some of those modalities of the relation between speaking and writing, not so much in the positive terms of cognitive neuroscience or in the writing of the neuronal messages, but precisely as articulated around a whole in our knowledge, a point of impossibility that provides the index and the reference both for the orientation of our own psychoanalytic research and perhaps for the creative principle that underlines our practice. That's all I can find to say for now.